pits of hell of movie watching. We are going to talk about the worst movies of 2013, and I got my list. This list wasn't that hard to make. I just took a look at the ratings and just put them up as I felt that they had to be, and there are 11 movies on my list. I decided to go one up a little bit higher because I felt there was one movie that had to be on the list, and there are a couple of movies that I'm mentioning that I did not get a chance to do a review of, and that is because I got so busy that I did do reviews of these movies, but I just never got the chance to editing them. That's the problem, and the editing process takes a little while. So let's get through some of these movies here. Let's talk about the dishonorable mentions first here. Freebirds, really bad animated film, really didn't like that movie. 21 and Over, another movie I didn't get a chance to put out a review of, but yeah, that was a really bad party film. Pain and Gain, terrible Michael Bay movie, Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg, and I forget who the third guy was, but it was such a bad movie. Dark Skies. Bad. Yeah, I know I said I did like the movie, but there were a lot of bad things about this movie. It was just really bad. Host. You kind of have to put a Stephanie Meyer film out when she puts one out. It's kind of required to put Stephanie Meyer on the list somewhere, and she just happened to get on my dishonorable mentions because I like Saoirse Ronan. I think she's a great actress, but it was just a terrible movie. Parker. Jason Statham only had 2 movies this year, Parker and Homefront, and Parker is the bad movie. It's just such a bad film. Terrible chemistry between Jennifer Lopez and Jason Statham. And The Last Exorcism. Yes, I know I said I did like this movie. It's just not that good of a movie. It was really, really bad. So, those are my dishonorable mentions. Let's get into the top 11 worst movies of 2013. Dum dum dum. R.I.P.D. number 11. This movie was horrible. Let's just rip off Men in Black, and while we're at it, I'm surprised nobody said this online, let's rip off Ghost too while we're at it. It seems the only people that seem to notice that were the crew from the Cinema Snob. They seem to notice that this movie rips off Ghost and Men in Black. So, but it was really, really bad. Ryan Reynolds really wasn't doing a good job in this movie, and neither was Jeff Bridges. Mary Louise Parker was pretty good in the movie, but it was just really, really bad. Everything about this movie was bad. The special effects were terrible. Just everything about it bad. Number 10, another movie I did not get a chance to review because of the editing, but this movie is bad. Lily Collins in the Mortal Instruments City of Bones. Really, really bad. Hated this movie. Felt way too much like Twilight. It was so bad, and Lily Collins was so bad in acting. It was so bad. Number 9, Paranoia. Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman, Liam Hemsworth, and Amber Heard. This movie was so bad. What the heck, Harrison Ford? This was such a terrible movie. There was nothing thrilling about it, even though it's supposed to be a thriller. It was really, really bad. Number 8, Getaway. Get away from seeing this movie. Ethan Hawke got on my best list and on my worst list. I like Ethan Hawke. He's a great actor. And Selena Gomez, I think she's an okay actress. It's just they were both terrible in this movie. It was just so bad, and they didn't have great chemistry at all. It was such a bad movie. Just a very bad car chase film. Number 7. I really, really hate this movie. I really, really hate The Lone Ranger. Now, I am a big fan of the TV show that starred Clayton Moore and Jay Silverhawks. But this movie was nothing like it. It was so terrible. It took a big ass horse dump on the movie. Literally, there's a scene where you see Silver taking a horse dump on the character. I hated that. The chemistry between Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp was terrible. And I actually thought I was going to like this movie from the looks of the trailer, but it's just so bad. It was such a terrible movie. I mean, the direction from Gore Verbinski, who was the director of Pirates of the Caribbean, really didn't fit with this movie. It should be a Western. It should not be Pirates of the Caribbean and the Wild Wild West. That's just stupid. I hope the next time they decide to do a Lone Ranger film, to get Martin Campbell, who directed the Zorro films. That would have been a much smarter idea. Number 6. A Terrible Day to Die Hard. Let's not call it A Good Day to Die Hard, but it's just not good. It's freaking terrible. Bruce Willis does not feel like John McClane in this movie. The villain does a tap dance. He has terrible chemistry with the actor that he got to play his son. And when they go into Chernobyl, they act like the radiation is not going to affect them. I mean, they spray it down to make it seem like it won't affect them, and then they take off their radiation suits. That is so stupid. It is such a terrible movie. There's no fight scene in this movie also. There should be a fight scene in any Die Hard film, and there isn't. This is such a terrible film.